Welcome to the Business Leadership Series, where we engage with leaders who are making an impact on their worlds and who want to share their knowledge and experience for your personal and professional growth. The following interview is designed to inspire you to become the best leader you can be. Stop wasting money on marketing and only do marketing that works. Order your copy of Don't Buy a Duck today. If you've ever felt lost, in need of a roadmap, if you ever wanted to get the right folks in the door and dollars in the drawer, you've opened the right book. Order your copy at www.don'tbuyaduck.com today. That's don'tbuyaduck.com. And now, let's begin today's Leadership Series interview.
And thank you for joining us today on the Business Leadership Series. I'm your host, Derek Champagne. Like many of you listening, I myself am an entrepreneur and a small business owner. I'm the CEO of a company called The Artist Evolution, and we're a comprehensive marketing firm that helps our clients grow through brand development, building effective marketing tools, and developing and executing strategic marketing campaigns. Our audience is comprised of business owners and leaders or entrepreneurs like you who want to continue to grow and learn and want to become better leaders for your team and for your business. And I'm just like you, I'm a student of the game. And so we set this podcast up so that we can continue to learn from one another and so that we can have great guests on that we can talk with that can help us to grow. For the majority of these podcasts, we'll have a guest, but today I wanted to spend just a few minutes and talk about the 5 mistakes to avoid when growing your business. I have a new best-selling book called Don't Buy a Duck, How to Stop Wasting Money and Only Do Marketing That Works. And in that book, we talk about the 5 crisis points that a business will commonly face when they're either in the startup phase or when they're in a pause in their life cycle and they're looking to grow and they're unsure of what to do next, or maybe they're hitting some challenges and they're not sure how to get over the next hurdle. According to the Small Business Association and an American Express study, professional practice owners are spending 7 to 15% of their budget to grow their business, but not every dollar spent is effective. So how do we take that guesswork out of marketing? In my industry, I'm in the unique position to have been able to do countless consults with startups and small to medium-sized businesses who address the same core challenges in their growth. And many of them are either hesitant to spend because they've been burned in the past, or they are trying to outspend bad decisions. So how do we take the guesswork out of marketing? How do we unlock this mystery word of marketing and start holding our advertising and marketing dollars more accountable? And there is a way to do that, to find these 5 common crisis points. And these 5 steps, if you follow them, they do take the guesswork out of your marketing so that you can be more confident in how you spend. So let's talk about these 5 crisis points. The first one is your identity. In my book, I talk about the identity crisis, a brand's Bermuda Triangle. A brand essentially is what your target community knows about you. I've often seen great products and successful business people who have an amazing story to tell, an amazing service, but they're not quite sure how to effectively tell their story. I like to recommend to clients to make sure that their brand is top of mind and tip of tongue. And that is easier to do when you have a concise message and you package up more concisely who your brand is and why it matters to your target. So we like to recommend that you make sure you have an elevator pitch, some kind of concise message that you, your team, and your brand ambassadors, those who are enthusiastic about your brand, customers who have engaged with your product, give them an easier way to refer your services. And when you have a clear identity and there's a clear association with the experience that your target customer is going to have with your brand, it makes it easier for them to say yes to you when they're presented with the opportunity to buy or engage with your services or your product. Let's use Starbucks as an example here. When you drive by a Starbucks, you know exactly what it would feel like to be sitting inside. If you see a Starbucks commercial, you can practically taste the flavor of your favorite coffee. You know the experience, you know what Starbucks stands for, from sipping your favorite coffee to engaging with a friend, to the familiar smells and sounds, to snacking on your favorite scone. There's no confusion when you see the logo or hear the name of what experience you're going to get when you engage with that brand. So in better figuring out who you are and what your brand offers and what you want to communicate to your customers, you really essentially get to write your own story from the very first word on. You get to help shape perception about who your brand is and how consumers can engage with you in a meaningful way. I like to ask a few questions when we start this process, and these are just a few of the questions. But what is it that you do well? What do you want to be known for? What do you want your brand to be known for? What core services are you going to offer? And then what moods or emotions do you want customers to associate with your business? Do you want to be a warm and friendly brand? Are you technology savvy? Are you customer service oriented? What are the things going to help you stand out so that consumers can make a choice quickly when they engage with you and they have the opportunity to say yes if they're a good target? So the next crisis point in a brand's Bermuda Triangle is understanding your customers. Who are they? What are the pain points that they deal with? What are some needs that you're solving? It's crucial to really understand who your company is, but you equally need to understand who your customer is. It's important for us to understand our core customer because those are the ones who are going to be most enthusiastic and appropriate for buying our services or products. Now, this sounds simple, and for many of you, this is elementary, but this is a core issue that we've seen. Again, we talk about the 5 crisis points. This is one of them that we've seen from startups to multi-million-dollar brands who get stuck sometimes, and we go in and do an audit on why their advertising or marketing is stuck or is not working. And this is one of the challenges that we find sometimes is that there wasn't a really truly good understanding about who our customer really is and what we need to change in messaging or service or product to make sure that we're offering something that is most relevant and can make the best connection for them. I want to talk about some other ways that brands get stuck, some other crisis points in marketing, right after this quick break.
Take a 5-minute complimentary marketing assessment for your business. Whether you're a startup or an established brand looking for more quality customers for your business, this confidential assessment will help you identify the next logical steps for appropriate marketing tools, strategy, and development for making sure your branding and marketing campaign is a success. Visit assessmymarketing.com today. That's assessmymarketing.com. And now, back to today's Leadership Series interview.
Welcome back to the Business Leadership Series. Before the break, we talked about identifying yourself, about identifying your target customers and having a relatable message to them. So I want to talk just for a minute about your marketing tools. Oftentimes, we see campaigns where the tools that are being used, the website, the print materials, the social media, maybe these are not a proper representation of how the brand wants to present themselves. Maybe the tools are outdated or not effective, and this actually hinders a campaign. We strongly recommend when we go in and do an audit, we don't want to recreate the tools if they're working, but if the tools are not effective for appropriately getting your message across and representing how your brand wants to be perceived, then they need to be adjusted. It doesn't do a whole lot of good to do a massive external campaign to drive traffic to a website that once they get to the website, the bounce rate is high. In other words, they get there and they leave after a few seconds because the website just isn't effective in communicating with them. You want your marketing tools, when you finally have the chance to engage with your target, when you're in front of them and you've cut through the clutter with your message and they're looking at your brand and they're looking at associating with you, you don't want them to have any reason to say no. They need to have the opportunity to say yes quickly if they're a good fit. And so you want to make sure that you are holding their hand once they start engaging with your brand and your marketing tools, that you can hold their hand and lead them through to the next step, which might be a sale or a consult, just depending on what kind of service or product you have. So the last 2 things that I want to talk about that we see as the 5 mistakes to avoid when growing your business is to have an integrated marketing plan. This is a written marketing plan, not the kind that you necessarily take to the bank to get a loan. This document is built for being a roadmap and for being an execution guide for your team. So this will be an integrated marketing plan that shows all of your cohesive messaging, and it breaks your targets down by segmentation with their unique communication needs. And it will have a step-by-step implementation guide and a calendar that shows here's the action items that need to happen daily, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, seasonal to your business, quarterly, annually, and will be your roadmap to help you meet your objectives. So this document is going to start by saying, here's the objectives that we need to meet for our business, whether it be open new locations or expand with an e-commerce new platform or a dollar number top line revenue growth, whatever it might be. This is the document that's going to work backwards from those objectives. And then you start to plug in what the best advertising and marketing outlets and strategies are going to be. This is going to be your go-to guide for your team to look at, and this can be a 3 to 5 year map for you. So we've talked about identifying yourself, identifying your target customers, developing a relatable message, having an integrated marketing plan, and the final crisis point that we see commonly where an advertising marketing campaign will get derailed. And this one sounds simple, but it's failure in execution. Execution seems to be a challenge for many companies. We'll go and do an audit and we'll say, well, how did this work? Well, we started doing it and we stopped. You want to have a number 1 on your calendar, on your marketing calendar, who is responsible for making sure that execution does not fail. And when done consistently, you start to make first downs. And we preach first downs in our business. And when we continue to make first downs, that's when we get farther down the field until we make a touchdown towards our objectives. So execution is critical. So the 5 mistakes to avoid when growing your business. And we've seen this save 3, 4, 5 years of guesswork from startups when they do it right from the beginning. So we do preach preventative medicine. But the good news is it's not too late to adjust any of these 5 crisis points if your business is dealing with them now. In my new book, Don't Buy a Duck, I provide a detailed roadmap for each of these crisis points that we talked about today. So please visit don'tbuyaduck.com if you want to learn more. And we also provide several free marketing resource tools such as this Business Leadership Series. We provide a free marketing calendar, and there's some other good tools for helping launch and manage the execution part of your marketing campaign. Thank you for joining me today, and I look forward to talking with you again in the next Business Leadership Series interview.
You've been listening to the Business Leadership Series, where we engage with leaders who are making an impact on their worlds and who want to share their knowledge and experience for your personal and professional growth. This interview was designed to inspire you to become the best leader you can be. Stop wasting money on marketing and only do marketing that works. Order your copy of Don't Buy a Duck today. If you've ever felt lost, in need of a roadmap, if you ever wanted to get the right folks in the door and dollars in the drawer, you've opened the right book. Order your copy at www.don'tbuyaduck.com today. That's don'tbuyaduck.com.